Chapter 1. The Rain That Started It All. I was running late for class, soaked, frustrated, and ready to skip the day entirely. My backpack was leaking, my hoodie smelled like wet pavement, and the universe clearly hated me. And that's when I bumped into her. Literally. She was rushing down the hallway, holding a stack of papers, and we collided so hard that her notes exploded into the air like confetti at the world's saddest parade. "Oh my God, I'm so sorry," she said, dropping to her knees to pick everything up. "I should be the one apologizing," I answered, crouching to help. And then our eyes met. They say cliches exist for a reason, because sometimes the world really does stop for a second. Her hair was still wet from the rain, curling at the ends. She was trying to hide her embarrassment with a shaky smile. And in that moment, she looked real, human, warm. She said, "My name's Emily." And just like that, something shifted. I didn't know it yet, but this was going to become the most important moment of my life. Chapter 2. Coffee, Notes, and Accidental Smiles. After that day, I kept seeing her everywhere. The campus library, the cafeteria line, the bus stop after classes. It was like fate was gently nudging me in her direction. We didn't talk much at first, just quick smiles and awkward nods, until one afternoon when she sat next to me in the library. "Studying for the midterm?" she asked. "I'm trying to," I said, "but the textbook is basically trying to kill me." She laughed, and it was the kind of laugh that makes people nearby look up because they want to know what's so wonderful. Hours passed without either of us noticing. One coffee turned into two. She doodled in the margins of her notebook. Tiny stars, flowers, and smiley faces. I pretended not to stare. And then, out of nowhere, she said, "You know, you're easy to talk to." Those 6 words burned themselves into my memory. Chapter 3. The Letter Begins. It didn't take long before I realized something terrifying. I was falling for her. And not a little. Not a crush. Not some passing infatuation. No, this was the kind of love that squeezes your chest when she's near. The kind that makes you replay every conversation you've ever had with her. The kind that turns you into a poet at 2 a.m., even though you've never written a poem in your life. I started writing a letter to her, not with any intention of giving it to her, but because I needed to release everything I felt. "Emily, I don't know when it happened, but you became the brightest part of my day." The letter grew longer every week. Every smile, every shared secret, every moment I saw her and my heart kicked like it was trying to escape, it all ended up in those pages. But I never gave it to her. I never found the courage.
Chapter 4. The Boy with the Hoodie. Love stories aren't always fair. The universe doesn't send you a warning when things are about to change. One Friday evening, I walked into the cafe and saw her sitting with someone. At first, I didn't think anything of it until I noticed the way she looked at him. It was the same way I looked at her. She introduced him as Ethan, her friend, her classmate, but I didn't need the explanation. I saw it immediately. The closeness, the comfort, the familiarity. He made her laugh the way I used to hope I could. When she hugged him before he left, my chest tightened, and the letter in my backpack suddenly felt twice as heavy.
Chapter 5. The Night Everything Shattered. A week later, she called me. "Daniel, can we talk?"
she asked softly. "Please?" We met at the small park behind campus. It was late evening, and the sky looked like someone had smeared purple paint across it. She sat next to me on the bench, hands trembling slightly.
"I think I'm falling for someone, and I don't know what to do."
My heart stopped. I forced a smile and said, "Who's the lucky guy?" When she whispered, "Ethan," part of me cracked in a way that words can't explain. She kept talking about how confused she was, how unexpected it felt, how afraid she was of ruining the friendship. She trusted me. She trusted me with her heart, just not in the way I had hoped. I listened. I encouraged her. I told her she deserved to be happy. And the whole time, the letter sat in my pocket like a burning secret I would never reveal.
Chapter 6. Letting Go Quietly. She and Ethan started dating 2 weeks later. And I smiled through every moment, every story she shared, every photo she showed me, every excited message. Because when you truly love someone, their happiness becomes more important than your own. But that doesn't mean it doesn't hurt. I stopped writing the letter. I put it away in a drawer. I tried to move on. Some nights I almost convinced myself I was over her. Other nights I lay awake feeling like my chest was collapsing from everything I didn't say. But life goes on whether you're ready or not.
Chapter 7. The Unexpected End. Months passed, seasons changed, and then, one day, she knocked on my door with tears streaming down her face. "He broke up with me," she said in a broken whisper. I didn't ask why. I didn't need details. I just wrapped my arms around her and held her as she cried into my shoulder. We stayed like that for a long time, two friends clinging to each other in a world that suddenly felt too heavy. When she finally spoke again, her voice was small. "Why does love hurt so much?" I wanted to scream, "Because I love you and you don't even know it." But instead, I said, "It hurts because it's real."
Chapter 8. The Decision. For weeks she healed slowly, piece by piece. We walked together, studied together, talked late at night about everything and nothing. And one evening, I realized something. She wasn't just a chapter in my life. She was the whole book. I took the letter out of the drawer, read it one last time, and made a decision. The next day, I asked her to meet me on the same bench where she once told me she loved someone else. My hands were shaking as I held the envelope. "Emily," I said, "I wrote this a long time ago. I never planned to give it."
Chapter 8. The Decision. For weeks, she healed slowly, piece by piece. We walked together, studied together, talked late at night about everything and nothing. And one evening, I realized something. She wasn't just a chapter in my life. She was the whole book. I took the letter out of the drawer, read it one last time, and made a decision. The next day, I asked her to meet me on the same bench where she once told me she loved someone else. My hands were shaking as I held the envelope. "Emily," I said, "I wrote this a long time ago. I never planned to give it to you, but I think you should have it." Her eyes widened. She opened the letter, and as she read, the world froze. Her expression shifted: confusion, realization, disbelief, something else I couldn't name. When she finished, she looked up at me with tears in her eyes. "Daniel, why didn't you tell me?" "Because you were happy, and that was enough for me." She wiped her eyes, stepped closer, and said something I'll never forget. "I wish I had known."
Chapter 9. A New Beginning. We didn't kiss right away. This isn't a movie. Life is slower, more fragile, more uncertain. But she held my hand, and I held hers. And in that quiet moment, the world felt soft again. Love doesn't always happen the way you expect. Sometimes it's messy, delayed, complicated, and unfair. But sometimes it comes back to you when you finally stop chasing it. That was the beginning of our story. And this time, I didn't need a letter.